We are back with the Mayor's Budget Improvement Discussions. We have before us the Information Technology Services. We're joined by Keith Durbin and some of his team. I'll let Keith, you can take the opportunity to introduce your folks here in a second. Also want to recognize that we have Councilmember John Cooper with us. As we go forward, the requests for funds that that we've heard about and that we will continue to hear about will far exceed the revenue that we have available. So I just want to make sure that the viewers at home know that at the end of the day, we will take all these requests, put them together into a budget that is balanced to send to the Metro Council based on what we think the taxpayers of Davidson County want to see. So with that in mind, Keith, over to you. Welcome. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Good morning, Mayor. We certainly appreciate your time this morning. I do want to introduce the people I've got with me. On my left is Margaret Keck, Assistant Director over Communications and Infrastructure Support. To my right, Greg Nicholson, who's our Division Manager for Finance. And in the cheap seats, we've got John Griffey, Chief Information Security Officer, Robin Mace, our Chief Data Officer, Dawn Clark, Assistant Director over Business Applications, Cindy Maddox, Assistant Director for Employee and Account Care, and Jesse Turner, Interim Assistant Director for Computer Support Services. I also would be very remiss if I didn't thank our staff from Metro Nashville Network, who is taping this, making us all look good, and streaming it live on Nashville.gov. It will be running on the MNN network, as well as being available with the other videos on YouTube. And so I want to thank specifically Nathan, Michael, and Chris, who are kind of working behind the scenes. And Mayor, you've heard me many times speak about the fact that ITS is a solely service organization. We exist only to serve the needs of other departments and agencies. Thus, the improvements that we're going to talk about today really reflect that. And last year, the last year and a half have been extremely busy for ITS, and we've really been working to move into a mode of implementing a lot of programs that are directly related to your leadership. And just to name a couple, you know, we're working very hard on Metro's community engagement contact center and systems with your office and Public Works, the hub
right.
of Nashville. We're working on the new government data center that's in conjunction with the police department. We are nearing the end of a wholesale review of IT practices with the Public Works Department. And I think Mr. Sturdivant mentioned that, which is preparing us for the kind of technology needs that are going to be driving the potential Department of Transportation. Technology is going to play a really important role there. Metro's first Chief Data Officer is doing fantastic things with open data, as well as What Works City, Transportation for America, and is beginning within the next week or two to work with codes to address some of the data issues that the audit pointed out. And then finally, we're almost ready to take the strategies that have been put together on your mayoral advisory committee, Connected Nashville, around smart city technologies within the next 6 weeks or so to public review. And so all of these things are foundational and set the stage for kind of a savvier, more connected and responsive Metro government.
And if I'm a viewer at home, Keith, why is that important to me?
Because what we are doing is setting the stage and enabling the activities of other departments and agencies. So while we are not out catching the bad guys directly, the network and many of the systems that the police department depends on to be able to do their jobs are run by ITS, and that extends across the executive branch, judicial branch, and elected officials. If those systems aren't reliable, if they are not available when the department staff need them, if they aren't secure, then we have failed at our job, and then those departments likewise take hits. And so that's the critical factor with why our department and why funding these things are really important.
Okay.
So our improvements are divided into, kind of logically, into 5 buckets, and 4 of those buckets are divisions for our capital request as well. And they are citizen services, infrastructure, information security, Metrolytics, and then run the business, which could be called, you know, end-of-life replacements. So can I just start walking down the list?
Yeah, I mean, you can probably, because you've got the operation component that's dependent on the capital as well, why don't you just talk about them at the same time?
All right, I'm happy to do that. So the first section of these is around citizen services. So the first phase of Hub Nashville that was funded last year is going to be transformational. And to make sure that we can support that from a technical standpoint, we have a request for one additional support analyst in my department to work with that. We also, from a capital perspective, based on advice from the Director of Finance, we have put the funding that will be requested through the PIP into our capital requests to make sure it gets into the CIB. And so that's why that number is there. But the other piece of that citizen support capital amount is the fact that Nashville.gov is 5 years old. The current version, it is an unsupported platform, and the techniques on municipal websites have advanced to really facilitate, people don't come to Nashville.gov looking for, the Public Works Department. What they come for is they look because they've got a problem or they're needing a piece of information. And so the techniques today are about getting them that information or access to that service first without having to know which of 58 departments and agencies they go to. And so we plan on a big community engagement effort, bringing in somebody to help us with that, and then based on that, and then benchmarking really best practices municipal websites, the New York City, Chicago, Seattle, LA, looking at how they're doing things and model that Nashville.gov in that direction.
And
so that's a $1 million request.
About the hub and why that actually is a central component of that engagement.
The two are linked. So Hub is going to be transformational. It's the same thing with Nashville.gov. The average person on the streets know they have an issue or a question, but unless you are already in the know in some way, you've got a relationship with your council person, they're not sure which way to turn. So what the hub will do is it will bring a central contact point for non-emergency government services so that that person, once we get it up and running later this year, will enable them to call a single number, go to a single website, eventually use a mobile app or tweet or Facebook an issue that will then go to a central repository that will be addressed by the department and agency that it belongs to without that member of the public having to know which way to go and what to do. The benefit also is to that person is that they will get a ability to track that, kind of like the Domino's pizza, your pizza's in the oven now, your pizza's in delivery, kind of a status along the way. And the benefit for us and people like the council members are to understand what is happening with data, what is happening with visualizations, and also do we really have a good idea of the level of needs in our community? And then once we get that over time, be able to address them through this process.
And I think like a baseline example, Keith, you and I were both council members, and you would have people who would call you and say, hey, there's a pothole here, but they would also be calling Public Works and saying there's a pothole here. They might also call the mayor's office and say there's a pothole here. What happens then is that you got 3 different departments trying to coordinate that. What this will do is put one point of contact. All of those people will know what is happening, but most importantly, the constituent will only have to deal with one to get their problem solved.
Absolutely. And in case they do go to that and they just, problem shop, we'll have the technology in place so we can see, everybody's requesting this and it's one item and it reduces that overhead for Metro 2.
Okay.
All right, so the second area is infrastructure. And, ITS, as we mentioned earlier, really proud to provide those baseline services. And probably the most critical layer of services that we do provide to other departments and agencies is, where the data is flowing, and that is in the network. Today, that means wired networking and, the now expectation of ubiquitous wireless networking, Wi-Fi. And to support the major initiatives that we have going, the police, safety cameras, body cameras.
Now, they've built a lot of money in their budget for IT. So is this a redundancy in your budget? Is this in addition to your budget? There's a lot of folks who,
So we've been working with them
Yep.
on this to make sure that when you have the type of data, and Chief Anderson probably mentioned it, the kind of overwhelming amount of data that comes from
Correct.
HD video when each officer has one and there's one in the car. That puts a strain on an existing backbone and infrastructure. So we have been working with them to make sure that when they have a shift change and all the officers come into a precinct and that download, preferably wireless download, starts, that we have the capacity to support them in this. So what you're seeing here is in additional infrastructure work to be able to support that. Getting that to the data center where we're hosting that and actually utilizing and analyzing it when necessary.
but so what, there's an analytic component?
No, to allow them to
Okay, got it. Okay,
So
so you
we're-
aren't building in any of that. You're just doing the backbone so that there's actually the capacity to use this technology.
So and it's one of those things, they do the job that it's the police side job, and we do that underlying infrastructure support. And to that, we're looking for 3 networking specialists, an architect, an outside plant tech to manage, fiber backbone, and an engineer. And frankly, this will ramp up over time, speaking about that one specifically, as well as a lot of the Department of Transportation, pending
those
Department of
3
Transportation projects.
Those 3 FTEs are not just solely about the technology.
are
This
not.
is actually more broad than that. Okay.
So they're an easy to understand example, but again, everybody is expecting, to go into a metro office and to expect Wi-Fi there now. We are
Me
moving.
too.
I know you are, and we want to make sure that's available for you. New facilities, retrofitted facilities, also optimizing our footprint so that we are now, leasing a lot of capacity from external providers, putting in as it makes sense through kind of physical infrastructure projects. So there is the First Avenue is torn up down here in front of the Fort Negley. So we opportunistically said, hey, how can we run fiber here? The courthouse is right here. The main bus train terminal is right here. We're up there. How can we opportunistically see that? So we've incorporated ourselves more into processes than we ever have with the Public Works Department, Water Department, and other agencies doing those things. And so while, again, police is kind of easy to understand because it's very current in our mind, it extends to all these other physical infrastructure things that Metro is doing.
Steve Bland talked about putting Wi-Fi on all the buses.
Yep.
Would this also be a part of that backbone?
It is. We are providing those services with him, and we are helping him to do that, and this provides that. Likewise, as we move down those major corridors in Nashville for enhancing transportation opportunities, it's running fiber down those, but so that those traffic lights and the special features for transit actually, have a very, very fast path back to their control center, so we can interactively manage that and gather the data that we can make better solutions and better decisions around that.
Significant capital budget request, $15 million for running the business end of life. Talk to me about that.
Okay, so run the business end of life is kind of the decidedly less sexy, but nonetheless really important. So on a well, yeah, that's kind of the way that works. Nonetheless critical. So on the operating side, every year we have non-discretionary increase in contract rates. And so this is paying for those increases. We're also asking for an additional field services support technician on the operating side and the internal transfer of a position around our enterprise support. On the capital side, when you're looking at end of life, you're looking at end of life for network equipment, PCs, servers, security equipment, and we it's important to refresh those things before they go out of support. And to make sure, again, that we can provide those services that our departments needs. It's also the Microsoft Enterprise Agreement, which provides Microsoft Office, the Microsoft Windows 7 and 10. It also reflects, for the first time, a group purchasing arrangement for Metro around Oracle database and related services, which through the good work of Dawn Clark, we've been pulling and supported by Talia and her team, pulling those things together and get better rates for those. I said it was kind of decidedly unsexy, but it's important.
So what is the average life cycle for a server? You know, is it only 3 years? So you see these types of costs? I mean, these are big numbers that every 3 years you're going to see.
Actually, servers is more
Or
like.
Yeah, it's more like four, and
It's
then
more like
we
four.
also buy
Still,
extended
these are not
warranties.
20-year things.
Yeah.
We also buy extended warranties to make it last as long as possible, but then
It's a lot of money often, is my point.
The technology, I mean, in theory, the technology gets better and cheaper. And that's the whole idea. So when I'm.
I've never seen that.
You
I've
haven't?
never seen
Well,
that
not
either.
My 10 years in finance.
No, I know.
I've never
What I
seen
know
it.
is, but
I don't know about the cheaper part. It gets
well,
better
the
and
idea
faster.
is, you know, that the TV is this big and it's really expensive, but now it's this big and it's a lot less expensive because it comes down. But
All those wires coming into that TV cost a lot of money.
fairly. So when you talk about, I'll just give an example. You talk about this idea of, you know, replacing end of life telephone, you know, a telephone system. You know, I don't think of a telephone system as anything now, but except for my iPhone. But are you talking about hardwired telephones? Are you, you know?
You want to give a
I
good
have
example?
that red phone in my
recent-
office.
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about? The red bat phone that I have.
Yeah, we do replace it's the hardwired telephones, and it is kind of the infrastructure behind that. So our hardwired telephones actually use the network now. And but there's a system that controls all of the phone numbers and the way that they're routed and all of that. And so we do replace it. Sometimes we replace it just because the technology is better and cheaper. And so we save money by replacing it so that we're not paying more in the support.
Okay, and fair, I'll ask you all the same question that I asked JIS.
Go for it.
To be fair, because they present these projects, and I ask her the question about, you know, ROI, you know, the investments in technology are eventually supposed to create cost savings somewhere. Do you all look at that? Is that data that's available somewhere? Because no one ever offers up savings for these technology investments.
Some of the ones I can speak to. Some of the ones, and we have done, and we even have experts come in sometimes and do that ROI analysis for us, so that we're clear that we're doing that correctly, that we're not just that we're following best practice around that. And so some of them we have good ROI information around. Some of the really big expenditures, like the replacement of those phone systems, but it also many times creates more soft savings and more cost. Not having that cost. I can't come up with it. Thank you, cost avoidance. So by using the telephone systems that use the network, we don't have to have somebody come out to your phone and change it. You can pick up your phone and you can move it from one building to another, and it's still your phone number. It still rings. And so we don't have to hire people to keep up with the increasing number of phone systems and things like that. And then we also increase the amount of benefit you get out of that phone. So there are, along with the phone systems, has additional perks like things that we're about to roll out around being able to do instant messaging, kind of some of those kinds of things. They're all built into that phone system and network piece.
So I would also say that a lot of ROI in these things is a piece of the projects themselves. So the rolling out, when they're working on the Gallatin corridor to do bus rapid transit and other things, for example. So the part of that, we are a part of that calculation that is done early on, which is why for some of these things, you're not seeing anything broken out specifically. But the telephone is a good example of one that has.
So with the fiber, for instance, as the fiber gets rolled out for the Murfreesboro Road corridor, we worked very closely with MTA and with Public Works to say we need additional fiber to be able to service the new Family Justice Center, the new police headquarters, those kinds of things. And so what we're doing is just, we don't have to now feel the full burden of the cost of putting in the infrastructure, the wire all the way down. We just add a little additional money and add more fiber to that fiber that's being pulled. So it's those kinds of efficiencies that really help, and they don't show up, as Keith said, in kind of a real obvious way. But
Talia?
does that help?
Any other questions?
I'm good.
And we can share that telephone ROI with you. We're happy to do that. It was done several years ago, but we're still in the implementation phase.
You just know I look for those savings, and
Yes.
Yes.
no one ever offers those, so.
Rich, and I think it's...
Go ahead, tempted to take them.
Oh, go ahead. You were so close.
I was so close
I don't think
to
I've
it.
heard you speak yet this morning, so please, go
I'm
ahead.
not speaking today. It's a no St. Patrick's Day,
So no
non-speak.
speaking zone?
I like the green shirt, by the way, Greg. I appreciate it. I appreciate you
A
showing
good
us
nod.
a St. Patrick's Day, which I have to embarrassingly say I forgot completely about until
The mayor's got
until I got to work this morning. So I guess, obviously, this is a big request.
It's huge.
huge.
We all know that. And so I think what we have to do, and you know, the likelihood of being able to fund all that is probably not there. And we've had these discussions in years past, so it's not a shock. So I think what we'll have to do is sit down and go through, you know, what we have to do. There are certain things, obviously,
Right.
end-of-life things, contractual obligations that we have to do, and then from there, we figure out, you know, what is the most important going forward, the enhancements that we want to do going forward. And so, you know, it's going to take a little more work, I think, to sit down and try to narrow that down once we kind of I think we need to get a better sense of what we think might be available, and then we sort of prioritize to what's available. And that's, again, we do this every year, and because Mayor, as you said, you know, I mean, there's no end to the.
Right, the technology just keeps changing and changing.
And you know, and it's how much do you want and how much can you afford, and we just gotta,
That's
you know,
right.
and we'll figure it out. But we got to keep a system running, and
Right.
and there is a commitment on all of our parts, your part, I should say, to open data and open government, and so those are the priorities.
Right.
And how we do that is going to get that's the next funding priority. Then after that, it's wherever we are. So anyway.
We're happy to work with you as we do every
As you
year.
always are,
You
and thank
also,
you.
yeah. I just want to make sure I was paying attention. So I appreciate that. I just want to make
He
sure.
heard 15 million.
Well, but I mean, of course, a lot of that is we do have 4% availability for a lot of it.
Right, so there's some of
And
that.
I'm not sure how much money
Yes.
it's several million a year comes out of 4% money, which is a good source for a lot of especially the shorter lived equipment. The 4-year equipment, it's the more we can do that out of 4%, the better off we are. So, and then bond fund, the more stuff that's going to have a longer time frame. So, get there.
We appreciate you. Thanks,
Thank you.
Keith.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all, for coming down.
Thank you.
You guys have a great rest of your day.
You too.
And by the way, the folks who are